Hello, welcome to Wondermous, a healthcare leadership journey podcast. And, we have interviewed some of the most phenomenal leaders across the United States over the last few months. And today we have a very special person. Her name is Kina, and she has a company called Hearts of Valor, Inc. And one of the things I shared with her before we started is I love the values of her company. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But first of all, kick us off and share with our listeners a little bit about you, your background, and your career journey.
Sure. So my name is Kina Lucombe. I am the founder and executive director of Heart to Valor Inc. It's a nonprofit cardiovascular organization. I'm also a registered nurse with 23 years of experience, and I reside here in Tampa, Florida. I'm a mom of four, and I've been married 28 years.
Wow, four children. Blessings to you.
Thank
So,
you.
what inspired you to get into nursing?
Well, when I was a child, like in elementary school, I lived in Louisiana, and my grandparents would take us to nursing homes on the weekend. And so we'd like read the Bible to some of the residents in the nursing home. And so I really got attached to elderly people. So I knew I wanted to do something to work with the elderly, and it just happened to be
Hmm.
nursing.
Wow, that makes me remember, since it is sort of the holiday season as we are recording your episode, it made me think of the time that as a youth leader, we used to take our kids in youth group to the elderly home to sing Christmas
Mhm.
carols. And it does plant some seeds of compassion and giving and caring. So tell me a little bit about your nursing career and how it played a role into the organization now with Hearts of Valor.
Sure, sure. So, like I said, I've been a nurse for actually 24 years. As of January 1st, it'll be 24 years. And
Yay.
so I started off in hospice. I've done telemetry nursing. I've worked in oncology.
Mhm.
For the majority of my career, I've worked in telemetry, which is a heart nurse, a specialty in cardiovascular. And
Sure.
so I've always had a background in that. However, I became a heart patient in 2019. And so that's
Wow.
when it segued into the organization.
Oh, can you expand on a little bit of that for us and kind of some
Sure.
of the challenges and what you were dealing with?
Sure. Prior to that, I had never been a patient before outside of giving birth. And so I
Mhm,
was always on the other side of it as a clinician,
mhm.
providing care and treatment and education to patients.
Sure.
However, when tragedy struck, I went into cardiac arrest in 2019.
Mm,
Out of nowhere, didn't have any previous diagnosis. I'm someone that went to the doctor and kept up, with my care. And so it just was a huge shock to me. And by the time, I had
mm.
some symptoms and like I said, I would go to the doctor. But I was told it was probably anxiety and that I was fine. Everything looked good. All my tests will come back okay. By the time I was diagnosed, I was in complete AV heart block
Wow.
and to get an emergency pacemaker. I was told I wouldn't survive without a pacemaker. So I thought if that happened to someone like me that's been in this field for all these years,
Right.
imagine people that have no clue, about medicine or healthcare and things of
Mhm.
that nature. So it prompted me to start a support group, which led into me starting the organization.
Wow. So I'm curious, just for educational purposes to help people, did you have any warning signs or
Well, that's the thing I did. I started gaining weight all of a sudden. I wasn't doing anything different.
okay.
I would have difficulty walking up the stairs, shortness of breath. And so I would go and discuss these things with my doctor, and I was doing other things to try to alleviate the symptoms I was having.
Sure.
I hired a personal trainer because I'm like, I'm gaining this weight, but I'm not. And I would work out 3 days a week with the trainer and then 2 days on
Mhm.
my own. And still, because it turns out it was fluid. And so I was still
Wow.
having issues. And like I said, I was going to the doctor and I was told, finally, I was referred to a cardiologist and I thought something's going to be done. I went to the cardiologist. Everything came back fine. My heart rate was normal. My EKG was normal sinus rhythm. I was sent home.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's speaking to me about the importance of listen to thy body, listen to thyself, because
Mhm.
some of these
Absolutely.
tests can all show everything's fine, but if you internally in your mindset and in your body really feel like something's wrong, I think we need to listen to that.
Absolutely. You have to be your own advocate for sure.
So, speaking of listening, who are some of the people that you've listened to over your career that have been good mentors or guides to you?
So good mentors and guides to me. I have so many. I have local mentors here. I have mentors. Dr. Sufisha Hill, back in Dallas, Texas, was a good mentor of mine. Did I lose
Hmm.
you? Oh, okay. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine.
I lost you. And so, yeah, Dr. Pamela Hill, she has been a good mentor to me.
And what are some of the leadership learning lessons that they helped you to grow and become the person that you are today?
I would say trusting myself. I would always advise people if I had to look back to my younger days, I wish I had have trusted my voice a lot sooner. And
Mm,
so I learned
mm.
that from my mentors.
Wow. And,
Yeah,
trust is so important because once it's fractured, it's very hard to earn that back. So,
absolutely.
the core values of your company are advocacy, collaboration, education, and support. Tell me a little bit about each one. Let's start with advocacy. Why is that so powerful for you all?
Advocacy is so powerful because oftentimes with individuals, it's easier to advocate for others.
Hmm.
But when it comes to you and your health, it may be a little bit more difficult if you don't understand, why and how important it is for yourself. And so that's one of the things I teach people being in healthcare. I know that why healthcare is a very benevolent field, it's also a
Hmm.
business, you know.
Sure.
It's also a business, and so when you go to any business, you wanna be educated, you wanna know make sure you're getting what you're supposed to get or receive, the
Hmm.
services, and so in order to do that, you have to be equipped with the information and the knowledge, and to be able to advocate for yourself and say, "Well, no, are there any other options?" Know what questions to ask, and so on.
Absolutely. It's interesting. A few weeks ago, I had to have a fierce conversation with my older sister, who is a former oncology and hospice nurse. And a couple of people had made comments about how much weight she had lost and how thin she was. And she was getting ready to have her first grandchild. So I just said, Allison, a few people have shared with me how concerned they are about your weight. And I know you want to help take care of this grandbaby, but you got to make sure that you're taking care of you. And fortunately, she is getting some testing done to make sure everything's okay because you don't know what you don't know, right? But being
Absolutely.
willing to sort of lean in even when it makes you feel uncomfortable. And that's kind of what can make collaboration so powerful is people leaning in together to really work together. So expand a little bit about collaboration and the importance in your team.
So collaboration is really important, no man is an island, and especially when you take on such difficult tasks as healthcare and trying to ensure that people are getting the services that they need. We need a team. And I had to learn early on, no man is an island. And so
Mm,
I have a team of doctors and therapists and nurses that I work with and just individuals from the community that come out and volunteer, and everyone plays an important role. And we wouldn't be able to get the things done without the collaboration.
absolutely. And I want to highlight the importance of people giving themselves permission to speak up. When
Yes.
I was director of patient and family experience at a hospital, one of the things that we discovered is even the most educated patients were afraid when they were in the hospital. So no matter your station or anything, if something doesn't feel right or you feel something is amiss, we just all need to feel comfortable, whether that's inside of our organization, inside of a hospital,
Yes.
inside of our family, because being that advocate for positive, purposeful change is important too. So, the education aspect, obviously, people that are in healthcare, they are committed to lifelong learning. So, tell us a little bit about education.
So, when you say, are you asking about education for those of us that are in healthcare or just in general? That,
Well,
that
yeah,
would,
in your organization, with that being one of the core values.
okay. And so, yes, we're constantly learning because in this field, especially in cardiovascular, there's lots of changes and trials and
Mhm.
different medications. And so we have to stay abreast with what's going on so that we now go into the community to share that information with members and
Mm,
then to give them the resources that they need to research it for themselves to make the
Mhm.
right decisions for care.
And with that comes support, right? You're supporting your
Right.
community with all of
Absolutely.
those things. So, tell me a little bit more about the different services and offerings in your organization.
Okay, so the number one thing that we really hell important that we do is to go into the community and bring testing and screenings to the community members.
Mm,
We deal with a lot of members that are of the community that are underserved, and then some don't have insurance. And
right.
so we're able to bring in, we partner with other organizations like Care Access, where we're able to get screenings done, heart and kidney screenings done for everyone that comes out at no cost to them. And so
Mhm.
that's one of our main priorities in this organization is to get the testing. We teach a lot of prevention, but we also want to make sure that we can capture what's ever, if it's someone's already impacted, we need to deal with it.
Sure. And I
Yeah.
saw where you guys do some different events throughout the year. You have like some fundraisers, and tell me a little bit more about that. I'm a recreation major from Chapel Hill, so I love when the fun stuff comes out as a way to do fundraising and support.
Oh, awesome. Yes. So we just finished our biggest fundraiser of the year, which is our annual Black Tie Gala. We have it here in Tampa Bay every December. Next year
Mhm.
will be December 6th. Down on Bayshore, so it's on the water, very beautiful. And we have our 5K and health expo coming up on actually the morning of Valentine's Day, from
Oh,
8 to
nice.
12 here in Tampa Bay. So we'll have lots of vendors, healthcare vendors. People can come out and get testing, get screened for different things. And we'll have providers out as well to talk to and so get some referrals and things that's needed.
And is February the National Heart Month?
It is.
Okay, I wondered. I was like, and how strategic to schedule it on Valentine's Day. You've got like a double opportunity for promotion.
Well, let me share with you. It is. And then actually, February 14th will be my 28th wedding anniversary. Also, the day
Oh,
heart surgery, also the day that I
wow.
received my pacemaker. So it will be a very, very special
Oh,
day on the 14th. So,
I got goosebumps when you said that. That is so special because, one of my mantras, if you will, is that every day is a day of new beginnings. And it's actually
yeah,
one of my favorite hymns. And when we think about that, your life took a dramatic turn, and prayerfully and thankfully, it
I'm
took
so
a turn for the better, and it also led to this inspiration of this organization. So now y'all are primarily in Tampa Bay. Do you get to serve other territories? Is there plans in place for future growth? Talk to me a little bit about
yes.
that.
So there are plans in place for future growth. We will be doing activities in Texas as well. We're also registered as an organization in Kentucky, and we're also looking to go into New York. So we're growing.
Wow. That is great. Well, and so I love to focus on the positive, but I also like to educate people on overcoming obstacles and challenges. So, what's the key obstacle or challenge that you overcame as a leader in your career walk?
As a leader, one of the things I had to grasp for myself personally is that it's okay to be vulnerable,
Mm,
and sometimes that's helpful in leadership. It's helpful to come to terms and to deal with things, and then to be able to share and be a listening ear for others. I think
hmm.
when I had my cardiac situation, I didn't want to share because I didn't, I felt very vulnerable and I didn't want anyone to know, and I thought it would impact my career and
Right.
the decisions that I was making. But what I learned is that's part of leadership, honesty, transparency, and you just never know how many people you actually help when you walk those lines. So,
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that because sometimes when I'm doing my speaking events, I just feel inspired to tell a story, and it might be a personal story
yeah,
about, something that went sideways, didn't work out, and what I learned from it or whatnot. And typically there's always somebody that comes up to me afterwards from the audience that says, I needed to hear that today. And so
absolutely.
even if there's one person that we've helped with our journey, I do think it's important. So obviously, with children and with this business, work life integration, right? Work life counterbalance, that's important. How do you achieve that on a day-to-day basis?
Well, thank God my children are spread out. I don't know if I did share this with you, but all of my children were homeschooled. So
Oh my
Doesn't
heavens. Did you do
spare
that too?
yes, I homeschool all.
Is there a superwoman cape back behind there that I'm missing?
No, I have a village, and so I have lots of support, you know? Yeah.
That is awesome. My sister who I mentioned earlier, she homeschooled her kids too. I thought she was cray cray, as my youngest says. But when you feel led and called to do that, I think it's so inspirational. And secretively I kept praying, please let those poor children go to high school. And she did. I wanted to see them have a little bit of that school experience. But so what really led to you feeling like you wanted to homeschool?
Well, I didn't wanna pay for college, um,
Okay.
and, no, I thought I had my own experiences in school, and,
Sure.
yeah, and so that kinda motivated me too. I thought, when I have children and I have a family, I really wanna teach my children things that I wasn't taught. When I got ready to go to college, because I was also in the Air Force, so I am a veteran, an Air Force veteran.
Wow, thank you.
And so sure, and so when I went away to college and I was studying the sciences, there was a lot of things that there was a gap
Mm,
from my high school to what now was expected of me in college. And
mhm.
so I would spend hours and hours in the library because I thought I'm going to get an A, you know? And so,
Sure.
but it kind of led me to develop, the idea that when I have my children, I want to make sure they're prepared and not just depend on the school.
Right.
Uh, and so And then I figured if we homeschooled them, then we could focus on the subjects that we thought were really important, which for me was math, science, and reading, right?
Sure.
And it panned out. And so my daughter, she's 25, she's in a doctoral program now, but she was our first homeschool graduate. And we actually moved to Florida because of her. She got into USF at 14. And
Oh,
so I thought, okay,
goodness.
this is a success.
Wow.
I'm gonna keep it going. So
A
did
little
this
a little female Doogie Howser.
And so we just kept going, and now I have, a 23-year-old that he started college around the same age as his sister as well, and then I have an 18-year-old that he'll be graduating both high school and college, in 2026 at the same time, and so we're homeschooling him, but then he's also at USF, and so but he'll be graduating both this year or 2026, so and then I have my 9-year-old, and we're focused on sciences and math, so
I love that. Okay, so this is what the Lord's put on my heart for you.
okay,
You may be called at some point to journal and share your homeschooling journey story to help other people, and that could be part of your legacy in addition to the Hearts of Valor. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I did not do well in math the first go round at Chapel Hill, and
okay.
so when I was trying to get back into dental school, I knew I was going to have to repeat a lot of my math and my science. And so I discovered this cassette series. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I get it. But it was called Where There's a Will, There's an A. And the
Alright.
guy that created this series was a professor, and he started the series because one of his kids was failing math.
Wow.
And so what it taught me was a process
Mm.
to help me study math, and there were just some strategies in there, but I have no idea if you'll follow through on that, but when I get these ideas, I don't think they're mine, I think they're the higher power. But that could be such a huge blessing to other people, because it sounds absolutely phenomenal what you've accomplished and what your children have accomplished, and who knows what they're going to accomplish down the road. So that's very inspirational. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, thank you, and I do have a page on Facebook called Heart School Homeschooling the Next Generation where I share
Okay.
information.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, as we come in for a landing, you kind of answered my favorite question for the end is what would you tell your younger self? And you said to really trust yourself. Is there any other words of wisdom that you would want to tell your younger self?
Yeah, don't wait for permission or perfection to lead. If God
Ooh,
puts something in your heart, you do it, you move.
oh, I love it. Thank you so much. So how can people get more information besides your Facebook group? How can they get in touch with your organization?
Sure, so our website is Hearts of Valor, VALORINC.com.
Awesome. And I do hope that you all will check out her site, look for opportunities if you feel so called and led to participate and donate in some way. My name is Merikay Hunt, founder of Coach MK Companies, and it's always an honor to learn about people's leadership journey and to share these inspirational stories with our network. I hope that you'll stay tuned for more episodes. Like and share with others and leave us your comments. And if you want to learn more about Coach MK, please visit our website, coachmkay.com. Blessings to you and make every day count.